Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Ropes with Coach Mario. Coach Mario, owner and head coach of Warriors Pride Boxing Academy here in Miami, Florida. How you doing, guys? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday for all my subscribers, all my friends, boxing fans across the world. Today it's going to be in English. English, all right? I've been uploading some videos in Spanish, in my original language, in my main language. But today I will express what I think about this past weekend's boxing matches, my perspective, what I think about today's boxing, what I think about today's stars, and what is in the future of the sport that I love so much, which is the sport of boxing. Something that I've been doing and I've been involved with since I was a young kid, as a boxer, as a coach for the last 13 years here in Miami, Florida. And to be sincere with you guys, I was looking forward to watching this whole weekend of fights. My wife was not so happy. She was, oh my God, fights Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It felt great for me. I actually made plans to stay in the whole weekend. Did everything that I needed to do in the house, run errands and everything, just planning around the schedule of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right. So I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible and tell you exactly what I think about this past weekend. A lot of other YouTubers and critics and boxing minds have expressed themselves about this past weekend, but I'm going to tell you my perspective, all right, if you want to hear it, all right? As far as the fights on Friday and Saturday, you know, we saw Rolly, we saw Haney, we saw Ryan Garcia, we saw Canelo on Saturday, we saw Skull on Saturday. To summarize my thinking about these fights, I can tell you that boxing is not what it used to be. Boxing has somehow devolved, not evolved, but devolved into a spectacle, into a circus show, into entertainment for the masses, entertainment for the casuals, all right? People that do not follow boxing, people that don't know the history of boxing, people that wouldn't know the difference between a jab and an uppercut. So these are people that are entertained by just watching, you know, a spectacle, a circus show. And that is what boxing has become. There's so much money thrown around. There's so much corruption in these organizations. The WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, they're all corrupt. All right. And now we have a new character in this melodrama, which is Turki Allashik, who is another casual. Is a person that does not know anything about boxing. I don't know if you've watched the videos where he's throwing punches. He looks like a little teenage girl throwing punches and looking like a fool. I mean, really embarrassing himself. This is a guy you could tell he's never exercised in his whole life. He's never thrown a punch. He's a super mega rich nerd who actually has now all these money from his country, just throwing it around in order to promote his country, all right? In order to get tourism to his country, in order to put his country on the map, on a world stage, signing up megastars to fight in his cards, doing spectacles like the ones you saw in Times Square, open air fights, where there was a lot of people there that were just attending, had never seen a fight in their lives, all right? So this guy's throwing all this money around, and these fighters that are supposed to be putting the sport of boxing at a level where everybody would be, would showcase the sport, would actually demonstrate the courage it takes to become a boxer, the determination, the skills, and all that stuff. It was a flop. you could see that these fighters were actually just there for a paycheck. All right, didn't try their best to showcase their skills, to try to beat their opponents, to actually fight for legacy. Boxers nowadays are fighting only for money. All right, you see boxers that are defending their title once and losing it immediately. These titles are given to these fighters. They're ranked by these organizations and given a top ranking when they have never fought anybody in that. There's so many things, guys. So many things that it would take me hours to tell you all the shady and crappy shit that is going on with boxing and how come I am so disillusioned of the sport. It is devolving, my friends. It is becoming a circus show. Is it becoming WWE? All right. A lot of bravado, a lot of shit talking before a fight, a lot of these media pressers where you get excited, you say, oh well, this is going to be a great war, and then you see Haney running around and throwing less punches in a fight, and actually matching some of the worst records as far as punch outputs out there. I believe that the Haney fight and some of the other fights like the Skull and Canelo are in top ranking fights and where less punches have been thrown. I believe they have broken that record. That type of achievement, which is an embarrassment for boxers that are supposed to be showcasing their skills and bringing the sport of boxing to a new level, especially people that we consider elite fighters like Canelo and like some of these other fighters like the so-called Haneys of the world who believe they are undefeated and end up embarrassing themselves by running around all night. They are a disappointment. As far as a contest of wills, a contest of people that actually want to achieve legacy, boxers that want to become great legendary fighters, you don't see that. They're all in there for the money. And you could actually see that in the fight between Canelo and Skull. About Canelo and Skull, man, I can tell you, man, Canelo looked like crap. I mean, physically, you saw him. He looked like an old man moving inside the ring. He looked terrible. Wasn't able to cut off the ring. Following a younger, you know, moving target in Skull, who actually didn't come here to fight. And I'm telling you something. I was telling some of the guys yesterday at the gym. I was telling them, hey guys, if Skull really wanted to win, if wanted to get this legacy of winning an undisputed championship against, future Hall of Famer like Canelo Alvarez, if he would have tried a little bit more, I think he could have had the opportunity of winning. But he was not in there for the legacy. He was not in there for a legendary status to achieve greatness. He was in there for a paycheck. And that's what's wrong with boxing nowadays, guys. When you pay these guys all that, all the millions of dollars that you're paying these fighters, Ryan Garcia has never been a champion. All right. He had an opportunity for this, makeshift championship that one of these organizations had for this fight against Rolly Romero. And he has never achieved that, yet he's making millions of dollars. And so is Rolly, who's lost his last two fights before this one by knockout. So I'm going to tell you something. It is truly disappointing to see fighters at this stage to not only not defend their titles, to jump around from division to division without being classified in that division, without actually fighting anybody in that division, being ranked high by these organizations that all they think about is also money. So there's a ploy here where all these factors are in cahoots. All right, the organizations are there for the money, the boxers are there for the money, Turkey is a super casual dude that doesn't know shit about boxing, who's trying to entertain instead of bringing real fights. The Canelo and Skull fight was a debacle. That was terrible. They both looked terrible. It was a black eye for the sport of boxing. It was a black eye for Mexican legends that fought before Canelo. Canelo is on his retirement tour. Canelo is no longer sharp, is no longer fast on his feet. It looks like an old man. Look at his physique going inside that ring. He looked terrible. This guy, he's enjoying life too much. Just like Maury Hagler says, it's hard to get up early in the morning when you're sleeping in silk sheets. And Canelo has been sleeping in silk sheets for a long time. He does not hang the hunger to become a legend or create that legacy. I think it's too late for him already. He wants no part of the top fighters. He's going to pick and choose until retirement. He's got that contract with Turki Allashik. I think he's got like 3 more fights contracted with him. So it's going to be Crawford next. And I'm leaning towards Crawford in this one. If the Canelo that showed up at Skull's fight shows up against Crawford in September, I see Canelo having a really hard time beating 37-year-old Crawford, even a past his prime Crawford. All right. So his next fights, probably fight Jake Paul. Canelo will fight Jake Paul or some other low-hanging fruit, and then sail into the sunset. So when I have lost all my faith in boxing, Sunday came around. I say, oh shit, let me just watch a little bit of boxing. And Naoya Inoue, I like the way he fights. I didn't know much about the guy that fought against him. I can't remember his name now. But that was one hell of a fight. And I was actually looking forward to the Divino Espinosa fight. And that was an unbelievable fight. This is a fighter that actually wants legacy. This is a fighter that's fighting not only for his family, his country, but to bring the sport to a new height. All right. He's an old school fighter. He's the type of fighter that wants to fight the best, just like Naoya Inoue. And both of these fighters actually gave me a little bit of hope, again, about the sport of boxing that I love so much. No longer are we seeing the greats like Wilfredo Gomez, who had 17 title defenses as a super bantamweight champion, who won them all by knockout. 17 title defenses of his championship reign, all won by knockout. How many defenses do you see nowadays this boxer's having? 1 or 2, and then they move on to another division. They try to cherry pick who their next opponent is. So we're giving our kids on our future boxers a really bad example. These fighters are. When I was growing up, I had the example of Wilfredo Gomez, Alexis Arguello, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler. We wanted to be like these guys. And they were fighting for legacy. They were fighting to be the baddest men on the planet. And that started eroding once Mayweather came along with his 50-0 BS marketing ploy. All right? Picked and choose lesser opponents in order to stay undefeated, calling himself the best ever, and all these other things, when you see other fighters that were fighting for legacy and for greatness. So, my friends, I can tell you that I was truly disappointed this weekend on everything that transpired. I don't know what's going to happen with my sport, the sport that I love so much, in the future, but it does not look good. It does not look good. Something's got to be done. I don't think that Turki Allashik is a solution to the cancer that's growing in the boxing community, in the boxing sport. This cancer is spreading, and it's actually infecting the minds of all these boxers that all they think about is money. All right, make a big fight, make millions of dollars, and then sell into the sunset like Skull is going to be doing. This guy does not deserve that check. This guy didn't go there to fight. It was an embarrassing moment, not only for the sport, but for Cuban boxing. A lot of these Cuban fighters are going to be looking at Skull and saying, wow, man, you really let us down. All right? A country, you let down your country, you let down your race, you let down your people. And it's actually going to be something detrimental for the Cuban style of boxing, all right, which has been heralded so much in the past. A technical type of fighter who is a Cuban fighter in the amateur ranks, but once they come to the professional ranks, they become boring, all right? They become really boring, and nobody wants to watch that. But anyway, guys, these are my 2 cents regarding what's going on with the sport of boxing today. Let me know what you guys think about the fights this weekend. I already uploaded a video talking about Sayas not fighting Fundora. Let me know what you guys think about that. Some jokers on YouTube, some of these young kids are saying that Fundora is scared of Saya. These are people that actually do not know what they're talking about. I've never laced up gloves, don't know anything about the sport of boxing. They're just talking trash so that you can click on their show and see the stupid things that they talk about. But anyway, in this program, in this show, we're not like that. We try to tell you things as they are without any type of fanatic mindset, without any hysterics, without any gossip. We're telling you the true facts about boxing, the sport that so many of us love, so many of us have practiced. The knowledgeable boxing fan. This show is made for the knowledgeable boxing fan and for the casuals that want to learn more about the sport and have an open mind. But anyway, guys, until next time, this is Coach Mario. Hope you have an excellent week. Remember to stay tuned for my new book, Masters of Control, which will be coming out in a few weeks. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that project that I have. It's a book that is a fiction book, a thriller, that includes a lot of boxing in there. So hopefully, you can go and check us out on mastersofcontrol.com, find out a little bit more about this project. But anyway, until next time, this is Coach Mario saying, hasta la vista. God bless you all and peace.